Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Well, good news, the rain stopped. It actually warmed up and the sun was out. It actually looked really, really nice. But all of a sudden, about the last hour, the wind has started picking up and it feels like the temperatures kind of dropped. But I'm going to be live streaming from right here, or I might go over there. I put the camera so if I need to, if it gets too cold, I'm going to be over here because you got to be ready for anything as far as the elements go. But I was sitting here thinking, I'm getting ready to go cook some steak and cheeses. That's right. I'm going to eat a steak and cheese sub. I'm going to show you Eagles how to really eat good. Okay. I hate you guys, but you really need to do better with that crap that you're eating. You really need to do better. So I was sitting here thinking, this is a hypothetical. Okay. We know the Eagles are favored by 10 points. They're at home. They've gotten players back. They're healthy. They're the better team than us. We've been literally a mess. There's no reason to think that our team is going to play well. It just doesn't. There's no logical way that you can look and say, yeah, the Cowboys are going to come out here and turn things around. Our defense has been completely atrocious. And since Dak's gone down, the offense has it can't get in gear. But hypothetically, and this is just a hypothetical question here. Let's say Ben DiNucci, a guy the Dallas Cowboys spent a 7th-round draft pick on, a guy who we've been hearing about practice, not a game now. We're talking about practice. Everybody talks about his velocity that he's putting out there. And, players seem to be buying into him. I'm not saying they didn't buy into Andy Dalton, but, you kind of hear a lot of nice things about him and his preparation. And we know that a lot of times guys get an opportunity. When you think back to 2016, Dak Prescott was third-string quarterback. Dak Prescott, going to training camp, was the third-string quarterback. And it was just that Kellen Moore got injured and Tony Romo got injured. And now you're the next man up. And being a 4th-round draft pick, everybody thought the season was over. So what if Ben DiNucci comes out here? I don't know if we win or whatever, but let's say we get into a shootout with the Eagles and ultimately lose. But let's say we get, a couple of touchdown passes. He does some running with his legs and makes some great plays right there and does really, really well. Whether we win or lose the game, he shows you more than what Andy Dalton did against the Cardinals or the Washington team. What happens with Ben DiNucci? It used to be this old thing that you don't lose your job to injury. That's what they always said. But you can lose your job to somebody playing lights out. When you think about, let's say, the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks in the offseason went out and they spent a boatload of money to bring in Matt Flynn because Matt Flynn did some terrible things to our Dallas Cowboys. We were up 26-3. Matt Flynn led them back, ends up getting the win, and he gets a big fat contract. He was going to be their guy. They draft Russell Wilson a couple rounds in and figure he's going to be the backup because what they said about him is if you need a backup for a couple of games, he might be okay. All right. Okay. Gotcha. But he ended up taking the reins and running with it. You think about Dak Prescott being that 4th-round quarterback, and taking over for Tony Romo and never releasing that job. Is it possible, I'm just saying hypothetically, is it possible if Ben DiNucci, or I'll just say Nucci, okay, because I can't get it right. I can't get it right, even though he went to JMU, even though we played on the same field some 30 years apart, but we played on the same damn field. The Nucci. If the Nucci, Hoochie Coochie Nucci, how about Hoochie Coochie Nucci? Hoochie Coochie Nucci. I like that. What if Nucci comes out there and plays well? Andy Dalton, they said, will be back next week. from the concussion. Does Ben DiNucci earn the starting nod on this season that you look at and say, well, we need to know what we got for next year? Because Nucci is dirt cheap. He's a rookie, which means you own his rights for the next 4 years. Can't get a raise. If you find out he's good, he's your backup for next year. Andy Dalton is a veteran on a 1-year deal. 1-year deal. Which means you got to pay more money to bring him back for next year. And because he's a veteran, there's veteran minimums. So the question is, does Ben DiNucci, if he comes out and plays really, really well, now becomes a starter for you for the rest of the season? I say yes. I'm just saying, you got to figure out who's to keep and who's not to keep. And now, here's another ramification. Let's say, hypothetically, let's just say this hypothetically. Let's say against all odds, and I know that this is just like dreaming, okay? This is like dreaming. If you win the lottery, what you gonna do with all the money? That's what we're doing right now. This is the exercise that we're doing right now. Let's say for somehow, some way, you go out and you win the game tonight in Philadelphia. You already had the Seattle Seahawks calling you and say, hey, yo, bro, I got some picks. I could use an Aldon Smith. And the Cowboys said no. Do the Cowboys then look at tomorrow and Tuesday and say, wait a minute. We beat the Eagles. We are a game up on the Eagles right now. We won a game on the road. We've got a young pup who has actually sparked the team. Maybe if we can get some help, we can still make a run and try and get into the playoffs, because we still have some games that are favorable. We still play Washington again. We still play the Eagles again. We still play, the Giants again. Does this change your outlook on the way you look at the rest of the season? Do you look at it and say, we could trade for a couple of guys that might help us out this season? Now, if it's me, I say no. Not unless it's going to be a person that you look at and say, this is a guy that we can build on for the next couple of years as well. Now, we know there's guys like Stephon Gilmore out there that New England has. And New England basically says, we're open for business. If it's going to be somebody that you can add to your roster, that will make you better, not just this year, but the going forward, that this is a piece to help fill in a hole, then you make that move. So it's all hypotheticals anyway, because we all know the Eagles got this. They're going to kick our ass. Our teeth are going to get knocked in. And I'm going to take my bottle of birthday rum from my wonderful bride. And we're going to get in the club and get tipsy, okay? And we're going to watch the game out here in the cold by my damn self. Because that's what the Cowboys have been doing. Leaving us in the cold by our damn self. Hope you guys tune in. I got to go up here and get my chicken wings ready for Joe Boo and get my steak and cheese done. All right. Peace. Oh, we're starting out at 7:30.